Hey guys, it's Chris Wong. For this video, I'd like to talk about the monthly distributions of April 2024 for the defiance funds, JEPY, QQQY, and IWMY. So as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who's interested in building a portfolio. So I am a Canadian investor and I do live in the Toronto area. I do like investing in USD funds because I think having some USD dollars is beneficial for myself. I think other people can benefit too from having some USD dollars, even as a Canadian. I do like investing in USD funds because I believe it gives me more value, it gives me more exposure, and I find it's better for me to invest in USD for my RRSP. So now talking about the monthly distributions. So the monthly distributions of April 2024 for JEPY, QQQY, and IWMY. Overall, they are a little bit less than the previous months. My overall dividend payout actually seemed to be less than my previous months. Even though I actually reinvested last month's dividends, like not all of it I reinvested in, I reinvested some into those funds again, just to make sure I maintain my capital. But the dividends for April seem to be less. So with my distributions for April, I actually reinvested in my RSP into a ticker symbol SVOL. It is the Simplified Volatility Premium ETF, and it gives me a good like 15 or 16% dividend yield. I did find the fund share price overall seems quite stable. Like it ranges between say 22 and 23.50, I think, for the last few months. So quite stable even for the entire year, and is one of my favorite funds for safe dividend income. Another ETF I reinvested the distribution is FEPI, FEPI. It is the Rex Innovation Income ETF, and it's based on 15 technology companies, and all these technology companies seem to be listed on the NASDAQ. So this ETF gives me a 25% yield, and I find so far the share price ranged between $54 and $56 for the last few months. So I'm happy with the fund and I think it's going to be stable long term. The next ETF I reinvested distribution is a new ETF called SPYT or SPYT, and it covers the S&P 500 by defiance. So I find this fund, it's a new fund. So this fund seems to aim for 20% dividend yield. So I decided to give this one a try, and I'll see how it goes. So if it's a 20% dividend yield, I think it's going to be more stable long term compared to the other high yield funds, because in order to give a very high distribution, the share price generally drops more. The other two funds I reinvested in my RSP are the new funds called XDTE and QDTE. So these are based on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, and they're by Round Hill. So these are new ETFs that give a weekly distribution instead of monthly distribution. So I decided to give this one a try. I'm not sure how it's going to do long term, but the weekly distribution does sound nice. So in my TFSA, I do hold JEPY, QQQY, and IWMY. And I am aware that I do lose 15% withholding tax every single monthly distribution I get. And I'm okay with that because the monthly distribution is still quite high compared to other funds. So let's say the fund had a 40% monthly distribution. So losing 15% of it, I just times 40% times 0.85, and it came out to 34%. So still quite a high yield. The monthly distributions I got in my TFSA, I reinvested mostly into funds that are listed on the TSX, because the funds listed on TSX, even on the US dollars, there's no 15% withholding tax. So I reinvested in HPYT.U, which is by Harvest, and it's a high yield bond ETF, and it has the exact same investment as the Canadian version of HPYT.TO. And I also reinvested into HYLD.U, which is the US currency of HYLD.TO, and it's by Hamilton ETF, and which covers the entire US market. I also reinvested some distributions back into JEPY, QQQY, and IWMY, and I did it quite evenly across all three of them. So overall, this video is not financial advice. This is just what I did with my portfolio and what I decide to reinvest my monthly distributions into for this month. I hope you guys do like the video. If you do like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, please subscribe to my channel for future video updates. Thank you guys for watching.